All right, so tonight we're not gonna do anything crazy. We're not gonna do a bunch of transitions and keep on the clock. Tonight we're gonna focus on wind, making good first calls, and then good corrections if we need to. So to do that, there's a couple different things we can do. We're gonna start with the least tech-driven system, and that's to figure out what they call it your gun number, right? So for my 223 AI, it's a 7 mile per hour gun. What that means is that in a 7 mile an hour full crosswind, it's going to drift 1 or 0.1 mils at 100 yards, 0.2 mils at 200 yards, 0.3 at 300, and so on and so forth, right? And that's in a full value. So then you can take that number and you can half it, you can double it to get quick, dirty wind calls. And this should work pretty good out to somewhere between 600 and 800 yards. It's quick and it's dirty. But it's accurate. And that's when you're trying to make quick engagements or quick follow-ups, that's a super important part. So that's what we're going to try. We're going to go ahead and evaluate our conditions here. And it looks like we don't really have hardly any wind at all tonight. And it's going, looks like for the first 100 yards, it's kind of boiling. And then once we get out there a little bit, it's looking like in relation to our targets, it's at about 15, 20 degrees, something like that. So we're going to take our half number and we're going to take a little bit off of that. So let's try our first target here. Let's go for a little bit further target. We'll go 506 yards. So in 10 mile an hour full crosswind, it would be going about 0.5 mils. It's calling for 3 mils up. So we're going to do, if we were to take half of that full value, 0.5 be 0.2 mils, 0.25. So we're going to give it about 2/10, right? Let me turn this on. So let's see what that does. Let's do 2/10. Sorry, I'm in moccasins. I'm not very comfortable tonight. Zoom in just a tiny bit. So if this were a full value wind, I'd be holding about right there, about 0.5. Since it's not, and it looks like we're only getting a little bit of a fishtail wind coming off the other side, we're going to hold 2/10. Impact. Right, so that's a quick and dirty wind call. Going out to 506 yards, cold bore. That was a cold bore shot. Hopefully I recorded it. I don't know. But that got us there, right? So then, if we need to change that, let's try a different target here. Let's do a little bit smaller target. .463, so it's calling for 2.5 mils in elevation. 463. So in a 10 mile an hour crosswind, be drifting 0.46 mils, roughly, right? We don't have that, but our angle to the target changed, and it's a little bit closer to that full value approach now as it's drifting up that draw, but it's only going maybe 2 to 3 miles an hour. So we'll use that half again. Half would be 0.2 ish. So we're going to cut it just a little bit again. We're going to hold about that 0.1. Impact. So you can see it's pretty accurate. I mean, that was a pretty little plate there. It's only about 5 to 6/10 wide. So not a huge target. And it's 460 yards away, which isn't overly far, but it's not necessarily super close either. So that's how we use it. We didn't use a Kestrel or anything there. We just kind of ran it based off what we're seeing and feeling, right? So now I'm gonna get reset up, and we'll run it with a Kestrel and see if we can get the same results.